System76 has released the Alpha 7 of the Cosmic Desktop, and I haven't checked it out since the Alpha 1, so I think it's about time that I go back to it and check out the latest comings and goings of the Cosmic Desktop. So we're just going to go through and just kind of play around with the desktop and see how it works and all these sorts of things. I'm just going to, because it's actually been a long time since the Alpha 1, since I played with it. I don't remember that much in terms of how everything works because, well, I haven't used it since then. And we're going to kind of revisit those things. So there will probably be some differences that I don't remember. Just give me some slack on that. First of all, I just want to make it clear, I have been using it for a bit already because I had to install OBS. So I have a little bit of unrecorded experience, but that's just because it is what it is. I have to install OBS in order to record through OBS, and there's that. So I have done that, and that's basically all I've done. I have also updated the packages, which is just doing the apt update, apt upgrade kind of thing. So I have done that also, but that's like the standard stuff you do anyway, and has nothing to do with the desktop really. So we're pretty much starting fresh, other than the OBS stuff. But I do have a few things that I have noticed in my setup of OBS. So one of the things that I notice is that when I go to the OBS section on the store, on the Cosmic Store, you'll see that there's options to install here, but you'll see the option for system installed or Flatpak installed. Now, I first did the Flatpak install, and it worked fine. The problem with the Flatpak version is that I wasn't able to install plugins, because when you go to the FlatHub, let's just open up the browser, and we go to the FlatHub. When you go to the FlatHub, you'll go to the search for OBS, and then you see the scroll down all the way. It's very hidden. FlatHub needs to fix this. It's very hidden that you can even find these. But if you go down to the very bottom and then you click add-ons, then you see all of these. And you would wonder, so how do you install all of these? That's a lot of plugins. That's great. You click on these and nothing happens. So what do? Well, there's no indicator as to what you do at all. When you go up to here, click install, it's just these things for the actual software itself. So how do you get the add-on? Well, there's this little info box right here, and all it says is use the Flatpak manager supplied by your distribution to install add-ons. So if the store has the ability to install add-ons, then you're okay, but otherwise you don't. And what if you want to do it through the command line? There's not an option. That's a Flatpak problem, not a Cosmic problem. But the Cosmic Store does not have the ability to do add-ons from the FlatHub, so that's kind of a bummer. So instead, I just went to the OBS website and added the PPA, installed it that way, so that I could manually put in the plugins that I already knew how to do. Because, you can technically do that through the Flatpak, but it's not that reliable in that way. So I just did the dev version, and just so I could get up and running and do the recording. So that's one thing, is that the Cosmic Store needs Flatpak add-ons, which would be great. So let's take a look at Cosmic. The biggest thing about Cosmic is that it has tiling and also non-tiling functionality with all the windows. So let's open up a few windows, open up a terminal, or open up the settings, open up the store, and we got a lot of these things. And the cool thing about it is that you have the ability to do the floating style, which is the default, which I think it's good that it's the default, but some people might want it anyway. But what you'll need to do is go up to this section up here, which is the tiling or non-tiling section, and window behavior section, I guess. And then here you'll see tile current workspace. Now, there is something to note that if you don't change these other settings, this specifically, you'll have to do this every time. So if you have a tile workspace, and then you go to your workspaces here, go to your second workspace, it will not be tiling. So you have to go into here and choose that to be tiled as well. So the other thing is also true on your secondary monitors, because here's an example of here's my setup where you'll see the secondary monitor, but not going to be able to record all of that at the entire time. So, but you'll see that I have a vertical monitor on the left and a horizontal monitor on the right. And by default, it's not tiled. So you'll still have to go into that one and tile it as well. However, the new workspace behavior functionality is how it works on both monitors. So you're basically activating it for both monitors, but at the same time, you still need to manually do the other one. So overall, that's not a big deal. It's just something you need to know if you're going to get into the tiling. So I think the tiling stuff is pretty good. So if you want to just use the mouse like I'm doing, you just click wherever you want. And the size of stuff can actually be moved, and you can resize things just like you normally would with grabbing the edge and all that. But it also does have the stuff that I want it to have, which is the quick access of being able to resize. So holding super and right-clicking on, it does work on Linux Mint Cinnamon. Cinnamon does do this, but you have to activate it. So I think by default, maybe it's Alt instead of super. But also, KDE Plasma has this as well, where you hold super and you can right-click. So you're not going to see a right-click because it's not right-clicking anything. But you hold down super, and then that way you don't actually have to be on the edge. Now, otherwise, you do have to be on the edge to grab it. So this is my favorite way of doing it because it's much faster, because you don't have to be accurate with wherever your mouse is, as long as it's relatively close. And if it's something like this, where you can kind of do the up and down, that sort of thing. Now, if it's floating, you'll see a difference in the float. Let's turn the floating back on. Oh, I guess we'll turn this back off. And you'll see that you can resize from the corner and do both dimensions, but that's not going to work on the tiling because there's no, it's not independent that way. All right, so there's a lot of cool stuff with the Cosmic Desktop. One of the things that I don't like of the desktop is this border. I don't really like this border that much, because I understand the value of it is that you have this indicator of which one you're on, but the buttons also activate with the color. So I prefer that. Maybe if I have a different application that doesn't do that. So let's put that in the tile. No, it's still going to activate like the brightness, I guess. So what I prefer to do is to go in here and turn off the active hint, because I don't like that border. And you can still see which one you're on because the highlights are activating and stuff like that. So that's my preference, whatever you want. But you can also, what I do like about it though, is the main reason I don't like this active hint is that it's too large, in my opinion. So you could lower this. So let's go into here and we can, I'm not sure exactly where you lower this, but I do know that the, let's see if we can search for active hint, the size of the active window hint size. There we go. So now you can see I can make it, I can turn it off, or I can just, change the size of the border. So you could go down to 1, and that's not as bad because by default it's 3. I feel like it's too much. The 1, I could be okay with the 1. It's not that problematic. Gaps around tiled windows. Okay, you can remove that. So if you wanted to have it all connected where there's like a 1 pixel gap. Okay, so you have to turn that off in order to have the 1. That makes sense. What if I... So there's still a little bit of a gap here. Exactly. So I'm not sure exactly, but that's fine. Overall, this is an alpha, so these kinds of things could be cleaned up if they wanted to, like in terms of like the polish or whatever. So that's not really a thing to complain about. But you can turn off the hint if you want to. Now, the one thing that I don't like about the hint is that it is the square boxes, but the windows itself, these are rounded corners, as you can see. So it just it doesn't fit the border, and it not important at all. Something that can be fixed later, no big deal. But it does kind of throw me off a little bit. So I will just turn it off anyway, because I don't really want it in the first place. I like to just have it telling me based on the icons of the window and stuff. Or even this where it's just brighter that way. I do like the dimming functionality of like what's active and what's not. So there's that. All right, so when we use the tiling, all you got to do is hold the super key, or Windows key, logo key, whatever you want. I like calling it super key. And then you just use the arrow keys to go up and down and left and right and all that. So that's it. Now, what if you want to move the windows around? You can do that too. You just hold shift as well as super, and then now you can move things around like that. And you can also change the orientation if you want to have it horizontal. You can also control the vertical aspects. You can just move around however you want and make it position exactly how you want, which is very cool. I do like the fact that it's not just moving around, it's also resizing and reorienting the applications and the windows. So very cool. I might use, like, I'm actually excited about this. I'm looking very much forward to when Cosmic comes out. I might use it more just to play around more than just this test because the functionality I do like a lot. The only thing that I don't feel like I'll miss something is being able to tell my applications exactly where to go and when and like how to go and what position and everything. That so far I haven't found on my testing of this. So that's like the only thing but I know I talked to for those who don't know, I talked to the CEO and founder of System76 on my podcast, Destination Linux. Myself, Ryan, and Jill, we had a great conversation with Carl about Cosmic, about System76 in general, and all sorts of stuff. It was a fantastic interview. And on that interview, after the interview, actually, it was in the post show. I asked him about a specific feature that I wanted from KDE Plasma, and he said that is something they'd be interested in doing. Which is window rules, which I'll make a video about later because it's a very complicated topic, and it'd be really awesome to see Cosmic having that. But in the meantime, I'll just tell you that it basically gives you controls on the windows and how you lay them out, what workspace they're on, what resolution they have, the placement and all that sort of stuff. So I love that part of Plasma. But the tiling functionality of Cosmic is pretty cool. So having those things combined together will be kind of epic. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. So what do we want to do? Let's open up the workspaces, which, by the way, also does the visual elements of like where the applications load and gives you like an overview sort of thing. You can do that by just clicking that button or hitting Super W. And then if you want to open up the applications, it's Super A. Also, you can just hit the button down here. But if you're going to use tiling, you're going to use shortcuts because that's one of the main things of tiling is that you don't have to use your mouse hardly ever with a tiling system. And that's the appeal to me anyway. So I'm going to be doing that. And now if you want to use the launcher, which is just regular Super, and that's where you get the launcher stuff. And you can also use Control 1, 2, and 3 to do that. But what is 1? Oh, okay. So Super 1, 2, and 3 are the workspaces. That's good. That's a... most people are used to the Super 1, 2, and 3 to be the applications that are in the dock. But in this sense, it looks like the dock and the order in the launching of the applications is random. So OBS Studio, I was thinking, so it's Control 1. No, see, it does seem random. Because the last thing I opened was Firefox, so it should be number 6. The first one I opened was OBS, of course, to do recording. And then I don't know which ones of these I ordered, but I opened Cosmic Store before I opened Firefox, so that's not the right order. I feel like this is just random because it's not even consistent down here. So that's one thing I would suggest System76 fix. Make this make sense. That's confusing. All right. It's cool that it has whatever your open windows quickly accessible. So that way, let's say instead of doing the moving around with the arrow key, you can just hit Super and then choose the thing you want. Oh, it's most recent. All right, so now that I hit this, it's now number 5. So number 6, okay, it's the least recent. So the oldest thing you used is the order. So there is an order, it's just a confusing one. All right, so if I go to, if I'm right in the way it works, I'm gonna go to the Cosmic Store, and then now, once I open it again, Cosmic Store will be Control 6, if I'm right. Control 6. Yes. Cosmic Store is Control 6. Now I go to Desktop Settings. That will be Control 6. And then the Cosmic Store will be number 5. Yeah. So it's the opposite of recent order. That's an interesting system. All right. Maybe I just don't get why that is better. So if you hit Super, it's this order. If you hit Alt-Tab, it's this order. So Firefox is Control 4 and then Control 3. So what happens when I hit Control 4? The Alt-Tab management of Windows, this control stuff doesn't mean anything They don't have any purpose because you can't even do it. Control 3. So Alt Tab, Control 4 is Cosmic Store. So if I hit Control 4, it works. But the only way to do that is to have Alt Tab. So you hit Alt Tab and you hold Alt. If you let go of Alt, it goes away. So you have to hold Alt down and then hit Control whatever. I would recommend getting rid of that. That doesn't seem very effective or efficient. So this needs to be more either most recent, like Alt Tab. It's just the same as Alt Tab, or something else based on the dock. I don't know. But it also, this only works if you hit the shortcut. So if I go down here and I want to open up the file manager on the Cosmic Files, if I want to go to Cosmic Files, I need to hit. You would imagine I'd be hitting Control 2, right? But if I hit Control 2, it does nothing because it's activating the Control 2 on the window. But I want it to be on the super aspect, so I have to hit super first and then Control 2. But I could also have just done super right and be there way faster. So I'm not really sure how effective that system is. I either don't even have that system or change the way it works because I don't really see the appeal of it. But because also you can literally just hit super and then arrow down to pick the one you want, which is much faster than the shortcuts. That's just me, I guess. Let's move on to a different topic now. Next up, let's play with some more tiling stuff. Why not? So with this, I showed you earlier, you could just move around like this, but you can also hit down and move it to a different workspace. And now once you move it to a different workspace, you'll remember that we had 2 before. Now we have 3, as you can see on the left. Okay, so you up and down is how you get to the different workspaces. Gotcha. And then left and right is managing the windows. Toggle window stacking. Super S. Okay, so if I move this into it, can I stack it? Yes. I can just do it that way. Oh, I see. So if you hit Super S and take it out of the stack, does it remove the stack completely? I can also move it around myself with the arrow. That's cool. So I can do this and just do that. But if you want to, you hold Super and then click anywhere, and it does the same as if you were moving it from the tiler, which is the same as like the Super resize. I did notice something that's interesting. Alt F4 does not kill. It does not kill the window. So if you get trolled by someone in a game, it will do nothing. Although Super Q will, I guess. There is one thing I noticed, and that is this display. It works fine, but this is weird. This whole scaling 150% and then going into here and changing this. So if you want a 165%, you can do it, but you start with 150 and then you go up 15%. So it works, but it's a little awkward. Other than that, it's fine. The only thing I don't like is that the panels all displays. So you have to go into which one you want and remove it. So I don't want it on my secondary one, so I'm going to switch it off. Okay, it turns it off for both and then turns it. Okay. So I turned it off on my secondary monitor, which is good. Not the most intuitive way to turn it off, but okay. Everything else seems fine. I think the dock works pretty good. Background opacity. Oh, that's nice. You can make it that. If I maximize, does it actually... Yes, it does go opaque. Nice. Good job. I like that. Configure dock applets. End segment. Oh, I see. Center segment is... Okay, on the right side. So if I move this, it will turn it to here and then put it down. Oh, that's minimize windows. Nothing's minimized. That's why. So boom. Oh, I was moving energy going to go over here. So it's just... I see. Okay, so if I move this back, it's going to go down next to... Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't work or something. I don't know. Because it changes the order, but that could also just be done here, you know? You don't really need to have it a separate section. So there's got to be something missing. There's got to be some bug or something. I don't know. Because I would imagine that you put it in the end segment, it goes all the way over here, and you put it on the start segment, it goes over here. That's what I imagine. But I don't know. Honestly, I think the rounded corners are too rounded, you know? It looks like it's meeting it because it's a circle right here. So if I go here, it's a circle. But it's not actually a circle though. So it's awkward looking right here. It's this corner is so close to this. I feel like this is too much. This is rounded way too much. That's just my preference as a designer. Like nothing to do with like functionality wise. I just feel like it's way too much. Especially on here, like this minimized. It's like they're really touching each other. If I open this back up, then it looks kind of sort of fine because this icon is a circle, but not all icons are circles. And in fact, literally nothing else is a circle. I mean, technically this is kind of a circle, but not really. You have the option for light mode and dark mode. So let's go to light mode. Default light mode or dark mode is nice for me. I like it. So if I turn that, I can go back into the dock and then I have to go back into here and turn off this. How does that look? Way too bright. Just way too bright. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. Do this. Accent color, cool. You can change the accent color to pink or orange, yellow, or that. I'll go back to blue because I just like them. Oh, here we go. Wait, this is about the windows. Yeah, that's the windows, not the dock. If I go back to the dock, it does do the dock too. Okay. Well, that's too much. Slightly rounded. And that is better. Okay, so the dock changes quite a bit. And the buttons change. But the window doesn't at all. The corner on the windows doesn't change. Unless you do this one. Which is kind of nice too. Like everything just slammed together. It's kind of nice. But let's do that. Oh, the panel's the top thing. Yeah. So you can auto hide the panel. That's cool. Position on the top, yes. If you really like the Unity style, you can go into and create your own Unity style just by going to here, choosing left, and then turning off the auto hide. And I imagine I'd probably have to reactivate it, kind of thing like that. Yeah. So you can have Unity style if you want. And you know what's interesting? Unity style is actually pretty good because of the fact that Unity has the stuff on the left, the launcher on the left. And you have so much horizontal space and so little vertical space. You don't want it to take up vertical space. You want to take up horizontal space because look at how much room you get for the browser. Super action key, open launcher. Oh, you can change it. So open launcher can be this. It can be that. Okay. So if I hit that now, it's that. Oh, 2 plus 2 is, it does have computations. Nice. Nicely done. So it's like KRunner. I like it. Not just a launcher of apps, it is a launcher of other things. Show maximize button. If you are a GNOME fan and you hate these buttons for some reason, you can turn them off. Nice. Focus follows cursor. That's nice. That's pretty nice. I like that. Cursor follows focus. Oh, so if you... Oh, you can activate both of those. What would happen then? Oh, I see. So you can make it activate by hover, and then you can do this, and it will move your mouse with the window. And it centers it on the window. That's kind of nice. I might keep that. One thing I did notice is that the volume, once you do this, and you take it off the increment of that, hitting the 100 takes a couple efforts, you know? Takes a little bit. But if you do it this way, or use a shortcut on your keyboard, it's fine, but you can also go past it. And that's kind of confusing. Nice though, it's nice to have that feature. X11 compatibility. That's good. That's good. Global shortcuts and X11 applications. This is important. GNOME just added this. So in 48, I think. Mouse button events and X11 applications. I'd have to try this out and play with it to see what it works. Maximize compatibility mode. May appear blurry on high DPI screens. Maximize for applications for maximize for gaming and full screen. I guess it would matter like depending on which one you're doing at the time. You could go in and switch it maybe. Preferred display to games. Oh, that's cool. The most infuriating thing is that when you open a game on the wrong monitor, especially if you're like me and you're opening it on a vertical monitor, that is infuriating. So being able to control that, good job, System76. I like that. Oh, you can have a different wallpaper on each display. I like that. Cool. So if you want to have like a dual wallpapers where you have it like spanning across, you can do that. But it does seem like it's going to be independently controlled. You have to have it. You have to chop it rather than having it full display. It'd be cool to be able to have it go across multiples that way, though. Workspaces. Displays have separate workspaces. Yes. Oh, you can go in here and change it. So if you want workspaces to be across this, you can do it where when you switch, it switches your entire system, like your other monitor. You can't tell because, whatever. But you can also say that only the one you're on changes, which is cool. I like that. By default, it being separate is cool too. Horizontal, so I can go back and forth this way, or I can do it like that. This should be centered here. It'd be nicer if it was centered. And this box, this border would be like shrunk to the size of it. It would look much better that way. So far, it's really fun. It's a really nice desktop, and I'm having fun with it. I do think there's some room for improvement for sure, but overall, man, this is nice. This is very nice. Bluetooth support, cool. Most of these are not even mine. I don't know any of these are. Neighbors, I suppose. Screen reader, nice. I like it. Magnifier, cool. Have all the accessibility stuff. That's very important. Being able to play the audio as mono, that's very nice. That's a nice feature. Magnifier. So use these shortcuts. If I use super period, okay, that activates it. And then, oh, okay. So it is just super equal, not super plus. Like I thought, oh, and it turns it on when you do it. I like that. So it follows the mouse. Nice. But what if you don't want it to? Can you change that? Would super scroll enable, you can do much more control with the super scroll. I like that. Oh, you can get rid of that. That's nice. Start magnifier to sign on. Nice. I like it. They have considered a lot of things. How far does it go? How far does it go, people? System76. How far does it go? To the pixels. Why? I like it though, actually. How far can we take it? 5,000? No, it's still, never mind. It's still going. All right, I'm not going to move the mouse. It would be very, disorienting. Yeah, you can't see nothing. It's still going. Still going. When we get to 10,000, I'm just going to stop. Because what's the point? You want to zoom in at 10,000%, you can. Can I zoom all the way back with one shortcut being super zero? That's test. Oh, wait, no, I went to last workspace. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so that does not work. All right, so now we can activate this. View moves when pointer reaches edge. View when pointer is centered. Keep pointer centered. Oh, that's nice. So it's okay. So you can move it around and then, oh, it makes it harder to get to that though. And then this way it just kind of follows the mouse a little bit. And then this one, when you do that, it moves. That is really nice. That's nice because a lot of people are going to want it in certain configurations, and giving you all these options. Well done, System76. Well done. All right, you can control the increments of how much it moves. So if I change this to 25%, then I do that. It's every 25%. Nice. I like how you have this control. Really nicely done. And if I close this, it just closes the thing. Okay. Yeah. Well done on the zoom. Very good. Some of the stuff I'm used to in Plasma, it can do some of that. But there's some stuff in here that I think only Cosmic can do that I think. Having all those configurations, well done. I like it. And I know that you can create applets. How do you get the applets on here, though? So I can add notification tray if I want to for some reason. Down there. Oh, right here. Okay. Nice. That means it has app indicators. Good job. Numbered workspace. Oh, interesting. So if I maximize it, it does do that. Tiling, it doesn't push it to the side. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Now that I get it, it makes sense. Was not intuitive at first because I didn't have anything maximized when it was all tiled. The store is very nice looking. Let's focus on the store now and create. Oh, it's just categories. Okay. So icons are not working. That's fine. It happens. But it looks nice. I think that the store looks pretty nice. I would really love to see Flatpak add-ons in here. That'd be really nice. Made for Cosmic. Oh, okay. So I was going to ask about... No, these are apps. About the applets. Where do you get the applets? Because I can go into the settings again and then add an applet. But where do I get more applets? You know? I don't see an option for that. So I think the store should be a great place for that. To get applets. All right. But still, it's a good store. Looks good. I think it's nice. So this is a responsive file manager. I like that. When I do this and it just goes down to that. Oh, okay. So it's right here. That's fine. Although this just hides entirely. Yeah, it just hides entirely. And then that hides into that. Unless I hit this. Okay. So that's the sidebar. Okay. Nice. Responsive file manager is nice. I like it. You have extracting. Yeah, so you can see source record and source clone. These are things that I added for OBS. Wait, is this temporary? When I hit Control H and then I open another one. Oh, it's specific to that one tab. I kind of like that. I think some people would not like that, but I kind of do. So far, I think it's quite good. It can do everything. I don't miss anything. You can add this to sidebar. Cool. Nice. Overall, I'm a big fan of this. I think this is really good. The fact that this is an alpha still, and I see some tiny little things that can be improved, but overall, there's nothing like a big deal. Overall, I think it's pretty solid. I think when it gets to beta, it's going to be even better. And when it gets to actually completed, obviously it's going to be much better overall. So notifications, do not disturb. Nice. Happy to see that. Thank you. So if you have communications apps and stuff like that on there, it's good. Actually having a system tray icons, really nice to see that. Good job. Gnome, you know what you did. Yeah, so this is great. I'm a big fan so far. I will start using it and play with it more in terms of doing a full, this is kind of like an overview. I do want to kind of do a full test and try it out over a week or so I can get more experience with the desktop than just, running through it in a recording, like a reaction video. I'm going to do that. It's probably, well, actually not this week because I'm going to the Red Hat Summit soon. So that's not going to be, I'm not going to have time to do that. But soon, I'll spend about a week working in Cosmic and see, what we can do with it and how far I can push it and stuff like that. So if you want to know more about that and you want to see that video when it comes out, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful in some way, and I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of the Cosmic desktop and all of this. Basically, I feel like I've done most of what you can go through here. So we'll do a review later on. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in that review, and also what you think about the Cosmic desktop so far. If you've tried it, let me know what you think. And hopefully this video is helpful to some who were interested in trying out Cosmic, but haven't really had the time to do so. And you could see this for yourself instead of going through it manually. You can see my experience, and maybe it's been helpful. I hope so. And yeah, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.